Hey guys, this is Kris Jones for episode 35 of Ask Me Anything. And today we are going to answer two questions from two of my viewers. The first question comes from a gentleman that you guys got to meet in episode 30. He's actually in the room with me right now, although you can't see him because he's behind one of the cameras. His name is Sam O'Connell. And I want to thank you, Sam, for asking this question. Just to remind you guys real quick, Sam is an entrepreneur. He is one of the co-founders of Tunefly.com, which we talked about in AMA number 30. He comes from a family of musicians and he's in a family band. So his question is a business-related question, and he says, if a small startup wanted to pitch to KBJ Capital or another firm, what's the best way to initiate that or introduce yourself? Totally awesome question. So the right answer, and I say this because I've asked for this advice from other investors, is to find someone that knows me or knows another investor that you want an introduction to, so you get it, and have them connect us. So again, that's sort of like the best guidance I could give you, is that if there's someone in my first level connection or in my inner circle that will vouch for you, chances are I'm going to take that meeting. If nothing else, just to keep that keep that connection. So you've got a leg up in that respect. A little bit more advice, because I actually wrote an article that was published, I think it was in Inc., where it was called the best 60-second pitch. It's like the best pitch I ever had from someone, and it wasn't through an introduction. So this just gives you a little. The tip is, his name was Matt Williams, and he's the co-founder of lavcup.com. And here's what he did. He came up to me while I was standing in the checkout of paying my bill at a Chinese buffet. And this is a really bad idea unless you are able to accomplish what Matt did. Matt came up to me and he said, "Hi, Kris Jones. My name is Matt Williams. Like you, I went to Villanova University. Like you, I'm an entrepreneur. And by the way, I've watched I was at that time, there was an interview that I did on the local PBS channel, WVIA. It was like a business series where they did a full-length 60-minute interview with me. And again, it only took Matt 3 to 5 seconds. So Matt's like you, I went to Villanova University. By the way, I've seen your WVIA video multiple times, and my mom encourages me to keep watching it. I know you have a background in marketing and advertising. Like you, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I have an idea that incorporates advertising. Here's my contact information. I would love to shoot you a quick email with my business plan, and if you have any time to give me feedback or add value, that would be great. Thanks so much." Period. And so the point there, and the takeaway to answer Sam's question, is do your research, do your homework, look for a personal connection. It could be that you guys both went to the same educational institution. It might be that your father went to that educational institution, or someone within your inner circle. The degree to which you could connect with the investor personally is a big thing. I mean, even the fact, in this case, the fact that Sam and I have an interest in music, and him knowing that's a good angle with me because I've made investments in the music space. So that's another way. Third is thought leadership. So when you're able to get other people to vouch for you within the broader community. So if you were to in the tech space. If you were to speak at one of the major tech shows that I also speak at, and we met in the speaker lounge, or if you were there pitching your startup, and I saw you taking that initiative, I think I'm much more inclined, you'll be much more inclined to get my attention. So do the work there, put the work in. I'll tell you what doesn't work really well is blind emails. I also think that LinkedIn, is, at least for me, because it's very easy, is not a great means to try to get a meeting with KBJ Capital, unless we have a connection. The thing about LinkedIn is it quickly shows you whether you're a second or third degree connection. And if we're a first degree connection, you've already met the test, and I probably will be able to engage in conversation on LinkedIn as a starting point. But if you're a second or third, it's almost better to go after that introduction from someone who in my first level. So again, thanks for the question. One other thing on capital raising, it is set up in a way where, because of the amount of deals that any investor sees, that just mathematically they have to say no a lot. No to a meeting, no to a next step after a first meeting, no to an investment after a second meeting. I could tell you that, even 20 years into my career here and having raised, helped raise, $40 million, the amount of no's that I've gotten out of yeses is so disproportionate. I mean, it's literally 90% no's. It's brutal. So don't be offended, I guess is the point. If you're out there looking to raise money, I think I've talked about it in previous AMAs, but I could do it in the future if you guys are interested. But I'm a big believer, if you're going to raise capital, to create a process that has a clear start point and end point. And in between, there's a series of things that I would recommend, including how many people that you would reach out to, how to find those people. If any of you are watching this that would be interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I'll come back to it in a future AMA. All right, second question and final question from David Antley. What are the commonalities that you see in successful businesses? So this is the point, right, of the series. Partly, David, what I would encourage you to do is to go back through some of them. We just recently optimized the titles and the descriptions on YouTube so that you could go and you could see, in general what the videos are about. And I talk about some of these commonalities. But let's talk about the successful ones, right? So one of the commonalities in successful businesses is complementary leadership, so that you don't have a bunch of bulls in a china cabinet. What you have is several leaders whose skill sets complement one another, and that is key. That's why you see a lot of turnover in really big businesses that are doing really, really well, because if there's a cog in a system that isn't working out, you'll see that person need to be replaced. And so always look for, you'll see in successful business complementary leadership. Another thing is someone who really understands financial management and analysis. Don't want to talk about the unsuccessful businesses, but I'll tell you what, that's like the number one thing that sinks a business. The lack of skill set and dedication to understanding proper and effective financial management and analysis. Recently, I had a lunch with a friend, and he asked a similar question, and I had just made it. This sounds like such a obvious thing, but I've been a business owner now for like 20 years. I've never missed a payroll. And here's the thing, I've never even come close, despite all of the businesses I've been involved in, not even close to missing a payroll. Why? Because I understand the importance, and I understand how to project cash and analyze cash. So, being able to look at a cash flow statement and look at the cash in the bank and look out 3 months, 6 months, and know what my needs are going to be, such that I either are going to run the business with cash or I'm going to need to tap into an overflow line of credit, that kind of thing. So financial management is something that I bring up to you guys a lot. I know it's one of those things where it's like, that's where you want to hire the complimentary person, right? Not me, don't sign me up. But actually, if you're the founder or the CEO, I sort of kind of have a requirement. If I invest in your startup, and you're one of the founders, you need to be able to nerd out, with P&L statements and cash flow statements and balance sheets. I know it's like, but trust me, take an interest in it and you'll have a much greater likelihood of success. Another thing about successful businesses is that they're executors. It's great to have visionary leadership, and I think in some of the most successful companies of our time, you had both visionary leadership and the ability to execute the vision. But even more important than the vision or the idea is the ability to execute. And part of execution is having a process in place that allows you to change directions when you're not getting the results that you want. So it's about execution, and it's about flexibility in your business model and your business plan, so that so that you're going to be successful. People are okay, by the way, successful business owners. Some of the greatest businesses of our time were founded on a completely different idea that eventually became the thing that made them the it company. It's just a fact. And so that's part of what you see in successful companies, is just a commitment to success and a willingness to adjust accordingly to get to a point where they're generating positive cash flow, the fundamentals of the business are on target. So let's see. A couple other quick points on successful businesses. Being able to create a culture of loyalty. So where the people who work with you and for you are there as much for the culture and the experience as they are for the paycheck. So businesses that are successful have the reason that people wake up in the morning and go, the employee base, is because the experience is there. That's why this is a pretty critical distinction between a successful and an unsuccessful business. An unsuccessful business failed at the finances, right? And probably never even was able to get to the point of building a great company culture. Whereas successful companies, it's required that you get the financials correct. And what they understand is that in order to really drive the build the good to great, or the built to last level of companies, right, the Jim Collins type of companies, that you have to create a culture where people feel that they could contribute, where there aren't too many rules, or at least if there are, they're the types of rules that you see coming out of Facebook, where they're really pro-employee. I mean, they just recently came out with a bereavement policy that was really great. I think if an immediate family member passes, you get 3 or 4 weeks off. If a non-immediate family, you get 2 weeks off, and just a lot of flexibility. Really, really taking care of your people. So you see that as well. So I mentioned loyalty. The other thing is, let me make a distinction between hard work and execution. Oh God, this is so unpopular, but it's another thing that I just like to say because it's sort of like my ideas are overrated thing, somewhat controversial. Let me throw a little controversy in there. I think hard work is extraordinarily overrated in our society. Hard work is what people do to get a paycheck, right? They work hard so they get paid. And I think that that's not the type of environment that I have seen in the most successful businesses. In fact, what you see in super successful businesses are not people who are overexerting themselves or having to work beyond a standard work day. Nothing wrong with that. I'm always working. But the point is that I've never pulled an all-nighter in my life, ever. The point is it's about execution. It's about loyalty to the plan, and it's about discipline, and it's not so much about hard work. So Anyway, those are some reflections. There's a ton of video footage that I've put together in the last 34 videos, and I intend to put together in the next 65 videos that covers this topic. So stay tuned. I want to thank you for asking the question. I'm hoping that some of you will ask more questions either below in the comments or send me a question privately. Also check out my YouTube channel. I mentioned earlier in this video that we've optimized it, making it a lot easier for you to go there and to almost look at it like chapters in a book where you skip over stuff. Like you might not really like my personal development stuff, but you really want to go after some of the digital marketing videos. We've made it so it's much more easy for you to do that. So go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I will see you guys in episode 36. Take care.